There I was at 18,000 feet in the air. My heart was pounding, I was sweating, and I was told that I learned 15 minutes earlier that when I heard the number 3, I had to jump. Everything inside of my body was saying, don't do it. But then all of a sudden things froze. My body locked up, and this fear just kind of penetrated every part of my body. And at that moment, stop. 6 months earlier, I'm sitting in the comforts of my office, and I pick up the Wall Street Journal, and I read an article that talks about global poverty. In this article, it talks about that more than half the world's population live on less than $2 a day. And for me, there was something about that number that just really, it shook me. It kind of made me realize that from my comforts in my office in Ohio, growing up with 2 parents that were small business owners, they inspired me to go into business. They encouraged me, and that support system and that structure was there. Yet for people all around the world, that same system doesn't exist. So for me, I thought free enterprise and entrepreneurship was a right, but instead, it was a privilege. So I had to go on a journey to really understand and explore that fear and really understand how I could be a part of bringing awareness to it, but also using my entrepreneurial skill set to solve those problems. So I found an organization. I was able to travel to Tanzania. Tanzania is a country of about 50 million people, and within that country, it's exposed to extreme poverty. And there is a man named Muhammad Yunus that wrote a book called Banker to the Poor. He coined this topic called microfinance. And while I was on that trip, I got a chance to really see microfinance in action. And what microfinance is this extension of small loans that are often less than $200 that help people create businesses. And those businesses can become self-sustaining to provide food, to provide income, to provide education to people. And it was when I landed on the ground there that I met Akila. She was a mother. She's 21 years old, and she has 2 children. She was able to learn the trade of being able to weave baskets, and she met other women in her community that belonged to this trust group. And within this trust group, they had went and got a loan and used that loan to create businesses. So in my part of the world here, back in the Western society, it was kind of like its own little chamber of commerce. And the lessons that I saw with that is they provided education to each other. They taught each other on how to be better business people. They also held each other accountable. And one of the core elements of entrepreneurship is how we can be accountable to each other. So in seeing this work, and in terms of these loans that were being lent out and repaid, I was completely inspired. But it was also this kind of real effect to understand that entrepreneurship is that vehicle where we can make this change and make the world better. So coming back after that experience, not only was I emotionally drained, but I was also, kind of broken in the aspect that I realized how privileged my life was, how many gifts that I had, and that the responsibility that we have as entrepreneurs is to give back and is to make a difference. So my step in courage was finding other people, other friends that would come together to meet in Orlando, Florida, to skydive out of an airplane at 18,000 feet. And together, we met that challenge. We raised $114,000 that are now being used and cycled in microloans all around the world. And it really, the lesson that I learned is that within opportunity, it changes everything. So really, at a core level, understanding that the gifts that you have from your own personal experience, how you can translate those into opportunity that have a huge impact around the world. Thank you very much.